Shh. Secrets of appetite level changes with ZEPBOUND 2.5 milligrams and ZEPBOUND 5 milligrams from my experience. Hi friends, I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I have had the privilege of being on TIRZEPATIDE weight loss and ZEPBOUND and Mounjaro. I've had to change because of the shortages. For the last 20 plus months, almost 21 plus months, lost over 93 plus pounds on the run to my 100-pound weight loss journey. And on today's episode, I want to go back. We're gonna take it back to ZEPBOUND 2.5 milligrams and specifically ZEPBOUND 5 milligrams for me of these secret levels of appetite changes that people keep asking me about. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to answer everybody's questions. So if you have more questions on this topic, pop them down in the comments below. Happy to do a follow-up video on this topic, but we're gonna go ahead and dive in. I'm currently on ZEPBOUND 15 milligrams, highest dose possible on the market. And what has worked really well for me when I first started, I had never experienced in my life before. The feeling of feeling full. I was like, what are these people doing when I'd go out to dinner with the family? Like my sister, for example, she could put her fork down and be like, I'm full. Yo, I never felt that. Even on Thanksgiving, I'd be like, oh, I guess I could shove some more pie in. You feel me? Like people out there with chronic obesity management are like, oh, I know exactly what you mean. Like there was never this feeling of fullness. And so this appetite level, the secrets of them was first knowing what that felt like. I had no idea. I did not know what the appetite level of feeling full was. Have you guys experienced that of where you're like, well, bust my buttons? That is what full feels like. So to feel that and experience that now for the last 20, almost 21 plus months has been life-changing for me, truly. This chickadee on the right-hand side did not know when to put her fork down. And the chick on the left-hand side, I am so grateful and appreciative. I should say lady, not chick. I know when to put my foot down. My husband would attest to that. The count would agree that I do know when to put my foot down. But when to put my fork down of, oh, that's what full feels like. And then giving myself permission to stop and acknowledging that feeling of fullness. For me, for ZEPBOUND 2.5 milligrams was immediate when I first started to feel that feeling of like, oh. And one of the secrets, so that's number one of the secret appetite level changes is first knowing even what that feels like. Because y'all, I had no concept before GLP-1 medication of that is what appetite could feel like. The feeling of hungry and the feeling of fullness, that it was this whole GLP-1 thing could rocket and change my world into the next dimension with that was crazy. For me, 24 to 36 hours after taking my shot was then when I experienced that. And so it wasn't right away. It wasn't like I took my shot and be like, ooh, ooh. And by the way, it's not here, it's where you take it's on the back of your arm. Someone's going to correct me later on because people do love to give me corrections. And I do love to be factually accurate, I will say. Let's talk about, speaking of important science data, I'm going to link down below a bunch of resources for you on today's show, a ton of free resources. And one of the first ones we're going to talk about is what's called half-life dose. I had no idea what this was before. I am not medical at all. I will always punch your healthcare provider. I'm never giving medical advice, simply my experience, strength, and hope, hence today's title about appetite levels changing my experience. But hopefully this will help encourage you is my whole intention, is essentially when you take ZEPBOUND, Eli Lilly tells us, and I'll slap my source down below, that it will stay in our system for up to 30 days. It will be gone from our bodies after 30 days. Half-life dose, and this is my little beautiful diagram here, is on day 0, and then we go day 1, day 2. For me, on day 1 and day 2, it's up at this highest peak. It crescendos, and then it comes back down again. And it still is high, but we have this half-life dose, and I should have made my graph even go down a little bit more, so let me fix that to be factually accurate here. It should go down even a little bit more for me because we have that half-life dose starts on day 5, day 6, and day 7. So the half-life, it starts on day 5, excuse me. And again, I am not medical, so if you have more questions on this, this is simply what I have felt, and it corresponds with the data that Eli Lilly provides us, is that a half-life dose goes on day 5. And so it's still, of course, in our system. Like I said, it's going to be in our system for 30 days. Per Eli Lilly, after taking it, when you stop taking it, it'll take 30 days to get out of your body. So for me, I ride this, I call it riding the wave. I call it surfing. If you've heard that terminology, I was the one who started talking about that one before, really riding that peak that you have, or peak I have on 24 to 36 hours. That is when I maximize my hunger and the changes in my appetite. And knowing for me now, I can expect it. I can expect it. I can expect feeling full at that point. So for example, we just left today. The Duke's, we're celebrating all week long for the Duke for his birthday. We left the family birthday party, and I knew, honey, I was gonna eat. We're gonna have wings, and I wanted to enjoy my wings. And so with my shot day, it corresponded with this to have where I would eat more, and I actually wanted to. So my weight loss this week is probably not gonna be that great because I did eat, I enjoyed, but it also intentionally made sure I had chicken for my protein. I had vegetables. I had a ton. I got my own crudité. I wanted my own carrots and celery. And I put my fork down, but it was their finger foods. I put my fingers down when I felt full, which wasn't that much. I think I ended up eating something like 6 wings, and I didn't have breakfast. So this was like my first meal, which probably wasn't very smart for the gastrointestinal side effects. 6 wings, and then I had a whole plate full of crudité. I was such a happy clam. Oh, and I did have some of my kids, he got some birthday ice cream, and I had some ice cream and 3 bites of cake. And I put my fork down. When I was eating the thing, I was like, okay, I'm done. Like I really wanted some dessert, and I had it and I was full. So that's what I'm talking about with these appetite levels. When I'm on day 1, it's 24 to 36 hours. That is when I ride that intentionally, of where I'll have more things like protein shakes. I really lean into that of 2 a day. I've moved into this direction because it's been so helpful for me. And I used to be so resistant against protein shakes. I'm like, I don't want it. And so rock on with your bad self if you want to have real food, you know what I mean? Like shrimp or chicken or steak or whatever. But I could not, I just could not eat that much shrimp. Like it, y'all, I tried. So having these protein supplements for me has been so helpful, so helpful with that, and experiencing that. And one of the things that I've added in is called BIOPTIMIZERS Mushroom Breakthrough. With that, because I can have on there things I can control and things I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference. I can control how much protein I get in a given day. And so one of the things I've added in, it's more of a savory thing that I really love. Well, it's sweet too. It's savory and sweet. But it's the BIOPTIMIZERS Mushroom Breakthrough, and I love the salted caramel flavor. Hands down my absolute favorite, but they do also have a chai and a chocolate, but I am a salted caramel girl through and through. You can use 2 scoops of these. That's what the scoops look like in there. And so it has in there, it's stevia free, by the way, gluten free and dairy free. So just, I know some of our good friends out in there, our counts and countesses, those are important features for you. It has in there 2 scoops is only 50 calories. So if you do 1 scoop, it's 25 calories, but it has in those 2 scoops 3 grams of protein. It has 1.5 grams of bovine collagen and 1 gram of marine collagen. Yes, this is something I can control, is how much collagen I'm getting in, how much protein I'm getting in. And for me, I just had a DEXA scan measuring its bone density, but also corresponding to my muscle mass lost. And overall, that affects your bones. And so worrying about like osteoporosis and stuff. So I have been on top of weight training to help with all of these things, to help with the muscle mass loss. And through weight training, having high protein, for me, 125 grams of protein per day, because that is something I can control. I'm obsessed with the BIOPTIMIZERS Mushroom Breakthrough, but it also, by the way, it helps with brain functions too. Y'all know, and many of y'all are very much like me. We are type A, high functioning, highly productive. We like to get stuff done in a day. And so this, I do notice the healthy brain functions with it too. More so, I take the mushroom, and people are like, does it taste like mushrooms? No, it tastes like, it's sweet tasting, which is why I don't really like super sweet things in the morning. But for my afternoon, I call it my afternoon coffee, but it's decaf. I'll have this. And it's so good. You mix in the 2 scoops and you mix it into, which by the way, the #1 ingredient in it is organic nut powder. You mix it in with 6 ounces of water or like almond milk, or I put it with my protein shakes, or I'll just put it in with coffee. I really enjoy mixing that together, and I'll use one of my little because that's things I can control for my secrets of my appetite levels. I can control that protein because that is going for me elevating, having high protein elevates my fullness level. Because did you know there is a certain percentage of people who are what's called hyporesponders? There's hyper responders and there's hypo responders. If you are a hypo responder, it means you are a slower responder. You may be on ZEPBOUND 2.5 milligrams right now, or ZEPBOUND 5 milligrams, and not having a daggone thing of what I'm talking about. And you're watching this video almost 10 minutes in, like, this does not apply to me. I don't feel appetite suppression, Elizabeth, and you're getting pissed. I want to encourage you, please don't get frustrated, because you very well may be what's called a hyporesponder. And you very well may need to talk to your healthcare provider more of what that means for you, of getting more labs, more data specific for your body. I don't want you to get frustrated because there's solutions with that. But your healthcare provider is going to have your health history to be able to kind of flesh out some of these things of what could else be going on too. Traditionally, if you have type 2 diabetes, factually speaking, it may take you longer to lose weight. And that's also okay, by the way. One of the very many blessings of not losing weight too quickly, in my experience, is loose skin. Having dropped a nice chunk of weight quickly, one of the byproducts of that was loose skin. If you're not losing, for me, I'll use my I statements, not losing weight that quickly, I think my loose skin would not be what it is right now if I had lost at a slower cadence and rhythm. I have substantially slowed down on my weight loss, so that is also, I feel like, in my favor. I'm gonna lose the weight, it just may take me longer, and for me, I'd rather have less loose skin, but neither here nor there. I want to go to the next one. We talked about the half-life dose component of it, but I want to make sure that you know also that not everybody is experiencing this fullness effect that I shared for 24 to 36 hours after having my injection. And that may be many reasons. It also may be you're not getting enough protein too. And so that's why I started to track. I've mentioned this before, when I tracked my protein, it triggered me that I literally had to go talk to a therapist about it. I laugh, and I shouldn't be laughing, but that was an old binge eating coping mechanism, and one of the many reasons why I was morbidly obese, over 100 pounds overweight, that I needed to heal on this food journey. So if you find that tracking triggers you, perhaps talking to outside help to help with that. I feel like this is a topic that is not talked about enough and that we need to talk about more, and so I'm going to start talking about it more. That I've had to seek outside help with my almost 100-pound weight loss journey because there's a lot of baggage that comes along with it too. It's not just about the food. But I do want to encourage you with one of the secrets of the appetite level changes that on ZEPBOUND 2.5 milligrams and 5 milligrams was also the side effects that corresponded with it too. And so making sure that what I'm eating is nutrient-dense food, best I can control that. Things I can control, things I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference. I can control my food choices that I have and the level of exercise or physical activity I'm doing. In fact, Eli Lilly thinks that those are so important. They tell us in our literature, that we need to change those life changes about ourselves. The eating component of it, the food choices, and then also the physical activity of it. I have control over those pieces. I do. At times it may not feel like I do, but I really do. And you do too. You do too. Even with some of our beautiful viewers are handicapped, it has been mind-blowing to me how many of our beautiful viewers are like, I'm handicapped, but I'm doing chair yoga, or I'm handicapped, but I'm able to do arm weights, or what can you do? Instead of focusing on what we can't have, let's focus on what we can do, what our abilities are, and what we're able to do. And if you have that ability to go walk around your block, in my head, after I do this video, I'm gonna go walk for many miles. You know one of the reasons why I do? Because viewers out there tell me they cannot, that they don't actually have that luxury of being able to walk. And you know what that does? That motivates me. I'm like, well, gosh, let's hop to it. I am gifted and blessed that I do have legs that move and I have lungs that breathe on their own, and I'm not hooked up to a ventilator to breathe. And so I'm going to take full advantage of being able to move my body in some sort of way that I'm able to. I'm not comparing out. I'm not looking at other people of what they're doing. I'm looking at my own race and running my own race of how I can improve my own body. And that is one of the many ways I have control over. And so that's what I want to encourage you. And one of the secrets of this is you're kind of like Glinda. Is it Glinda? Who is the witch? Not the witch. From Dorothy, Wizard of Oz. You've had the power all the time. It's one of the things that ZEPBOUND taught me. I'm like, oh, I'm like Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz. It's been there this whole time. I just didn't recognize it. And so for you, this has all been there, but was GLP-1 deficient. And so having a medication that helps me with my GLP-1, taking a GLP-1 medication on that has been so helpful. Now, one of the things that has happened for me along my journey, when I was on ZEPBOUND 2.5 milligrams, I was on for just 4 weeks. Perhaps if I had changed titration spots, I probably wouldn't have titrated up as quickly. I am at ZEPBOUND 15 milligrams. There is nowhere else for me to go. I somewhat feel like I'm pinned in a corner. I'm up to the ceiling. And I probably will be at this level for the next 2 years because I don't think retatrutide, the next level of GLP-1 medications, and also the higher doses of like ZEPBOUND, if there will be, I don't know, a ZEPBOUND 17.5 milligrams or a ZEPBOUND 20 milligrams or a ZEPBOUND 22.5 milligrams, those very well may take 2 or 3 years to get released. So for at least probably 2 years, I'm guessing, I'm stuck at this dose. Before titrating up, have you done everything in your power to make sure you're in control of this? And we also know the price of ZEPBOUND 2.5 milligrams is substantially, with the vials, is only $3.99 if you go through Eli Lilly, Lilly Direct to get the vials. That's the only way you can get them is through Lilly Direct, I believe. That was, someone else was saying that they were going through their doctor. I'm like, I don't think you can do that. That was not my understanding, but I'll link down below my sources on that. Let me make a note. I need to link the vials down there too, and I need to link half-life doses as well to cite my sources in addition to all of these, which by the way, I did not mention earlier. With the mushroom breakthrough, there is an extra 10% off discount code with Queen. You can use that down in the description link below as well. I didn't say that earlier, but I meant to. Things we have control over that we I don't want to should on people, but should be doing. And so let me should on myself. You do you. You take what you want and leave the rest. But for me, I have control over that. The ability to change my injection site. There's 3. And if you haven't seen the worst injection locations, go watch that video after this one. It's in my playlist. Click that like and subscribe button so you can see all of them. But that food chatter returning for me was a signal to titrate up. Now, that food chatter returning for me was always a signal to, okay, it's time to move up to the next level. But within that, am I maximizing protein best I can? I did not have the ability, and this is one of my other secrets, and you take this and do whatever you wish with it, but I did not have the ability to fully change my food habits at ZEPBOUND 2.5 milligrams. And being brutally honest, ZEPBOUND 5 milligrams. I still was working on it, but had not made a physical change. Really probably, I mean, it was a long time. I mean, I've been on for almost 21 months, if I'm not already there. I don't have my calculator out. Pencils down, Rosen Island. And so with on the right here, the woman on the right, the morbidly obese woman, that I couldn't. It was just focusing in on side effects and what that was like. The feeling of fullness is pretty much all I could encompass. If you've been on ZEPBOUND 2.5 milligrams or ZEPBOUND 5 milligrams for a hot second, then perhaps working on the protein levels and talking to your healthcare provider of what they think is best for you, right? I'm saying 125 grams, but I'm almost 6 feet tall. I'm lifting, I'm doing cardio, there's an intention and a design behind all of this. And so I want to share that with you too, of like, you do what's best within your own dietitian recommendations and things like that. Having changed locations prior to titrating up is one of the massive, most rampant one of the most massive things I did to change my appetite suppression. I know on weeks that I do my injection near my belly button, and I'm using the diagram that Eli Lilly tells us in our little package, they give us that purple diagram. When I do it near my stomach area, I don't really have appetite suppression. It's not as good as the back of my arm. I know when I have the back of my arm, she is going to drop weight. She is me. It is I. I know that I'm going to drop weight that week. And so that I want to encourage you on that also very well may be jacking with your appetite levels. That is one of the big secrets. If you've made it this far, round of applause for you. That is one of the keys to keep for me in my brain of like, oh yeah, it's a stomach week. This week's going to be harder for me. So I don't do my stomach on weeks that I know. I do my stomach, quite frankly, when I'm going on vacation or when I want to eat more or when I want, you know what I mean? Like where I really want to enjoy the food. I'm a foodie. And so if we're going away soon, the Count and I, we're going to be having a chef make some meals for us. You best believe I'm going to be injecting in my stomach that week because I'll eat a little bit more and it's rotating up on my body. I think for me, it's important to rotate up locations because if I just did the back of my arms, I would rotate left and right each week. But I just want to make sure I'm trying to think if there's data back. I have no data to support that. Again, because I'm not medical, just my own experience of making sure I don't want to get what people have said is scar tissue, but I don't want to dispel incorrect information. So that is, I'll use my I statements. That is my personal preference on that, of why I like to throw in, even knowing on my thigh, it's not the same level. It's a different type of feeling of fullness when I had the back of my arm. It's amazing. It's so amazing. I love it. I wish I could do it every week. But changing those locations before titrating up, huge, 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 huge. And going in knowing, and if you're maybe like, well, I have no idea what my not good locations are, great, use my free resource, the side effect tracker that's linked down below on countessofshopping.com, my free blog for all things for you. Like, I've got a ton of articles on there. Hair loss, got an article on that. Constipation, got an article on that. Diarrhea, got an article on that. Like, there's a ton of different stuff for you all on my website to hopefully help you on your journey. But I think taking the power back with these things, super important, and knowing that those levels of having that half-life dose is one of the secrets on there. Knowing that what it feels like first and foremost for appetite level to feel full, to be able to put my fork down. Knowing, and by the way, earmuffs for men, but for women, my period dramatically changes that too. And my period, and I've mentioned this in other videos, but I've been getting this question a lot recently. My period got jacked within the first year. My menstrual cycle was all over the map. I thought I was going through menopause, but it was just my hormones were, because GLP-1 is a hormone, and so hormone receptor. I shouldn't be talking about medical stuff there, but it jacked with my hormones. Now it's good, like my periods are good, but anyway, something to think about if you're having that, talk to your healthcare provider. But for me, I did a whole video. I've done 2 videos on it. So you can look those up. And also for women who are in childbearing years, when you titrate up, you need to have an alternative form of birth control if you're taking an oral pill. Eli Lilly tells us that. Like, people, I don't think know that. I didn't know that. That didn't come out until later. Down the pike. When you titrate up, you need another alternative form within, I forget how many weeks it is, but talk to your doctor about that. If you're in childbearing years and you take a birth control pill, you need a secondary form of birth control on that. Okay, unearmuff. Well, men should have listened to that too. If you're a part of that, if you have a partner with your partner, if she is within childbearing years, you need to know that information too if she's on GLP-1 medication. Okay, so the food chatter returning, knowing the things that I can control, things I can't, wisdom to know the difference, having good proteins, or even like, this is just a secret hack for me. It's a little change, but has made a world of difference for me. And so using the mushroom breakthrough from BIOPTIMIZERS. And so the exercise component, I can go walk. If I have the ability, why am I not? It's lame to me when I say to myself, and I say I'm lame, by the way, and I say that with kindness, love, grace, kindness, and compassion. It didn't come out that way. It came out mean. But when I'm tying myself, I'm like, it's lame if I don't go for a walk today. Like, I'm better than that. I really am. I've made these lifestyle changes. Why can't I not go walk a mile or 2 miles today? It's not that hard. It's not that much. At this point, at the beginning it was. The beginning walking a mile, y'all, I was huffing, puffing, sweating. I was like one of the 3 little pigs the big bad wolf and 3 little pigs trying to blow the house down. I was like, doing that. And I am so proud of myself. I am so proud of myself that I've gotten to the ability today. Like, that is a huge gift to be like, easy peasy, 1 to 2 miles. I walked, yesterday I walked 6 miles. No sweat. I used to be really dizzy afterwards. I was not. I was like debating if I should do another 2 miles after that. And I decided not to. But like, that's amazing. That's amazing. So, and if you're not experiencing these appetite levels on ZEPBOUND 2.5 milligrams or ZEPBOUND 5 milligrams, have you done the things you can control, the protein and the working out? And if you haven't, and you've done your blood work with, and you've talked to your healthcare provider about it, you very well may just be a hyporesponder. And it may take you a higher dose to get to that level of what I'm talking about, of being full. And if you're not there, what I don't want you to do is beat yourself up or feel badly about yourself or anything other than that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And you were made amazingly. And that there's nothing like defective about you. I've had that before. People are like, oh my God. And I'm like, no. It just may simply mean that, and we don't have enough information yet on hyporesponders. More is coming, more data is coming. We are at the very genesis of this. We haven't even hit GLP-1, what I call 2.0, like the next version of this, the next wave of this. So there's so much we don't know. If you are a hyporesponder, do what you can control, but also the wisdom to know what you can't. And if you're not feeling this appetite suppression and you're trying everything, you're getting frustrated, trust and believe that more answers are coming for you. If you keep seeking, you're going to figure it out. The answer is going to come for you. if you keep knocking, it's gonna come. It just is. That has been my experience. I'll use my I statement. That has been my experience. So, because I've been there with the frustration levels. Being on ZEPBOUND 15 milligrams, I'm like, I can't go anywhere. I need to titrate up. At pockets of where food comes back of food chatter, and I'm like, ugh. But also, I know that there's things that I can continue to improve, and I think that's one of the beautiful things that's happened for me on ZEPBOUND 15 milligrams, is that I really had to get super clean with my eating and working out. And that would not have happened had I not been forced to at this high dose. It was like, okay, or either I can continue to make changes or I could be stuck. And I'd be stuck, quite frankly, at the 75 to 80 pound weight loss. Now I'm at 93, over 90, 93 and a half. I can't wait till the day I say 100 pounds, by the way. My husband and I were just talking about this today. I was like, I cannot wait to say that to folks. I cannot wait. I'm like, I'm waiting for that day. So friends, the secrets are, and particularly when you're starting, you may not experience this appetite loss or appetite suppression. And when you changed it, for me, when I changed my doses, I thought 7.5, ZEPBOUND 7.5 was gonna be heavenly. It was nothing. It felt like a stair step down to me. I was like, man, I love ZEPBOUND 5 milligrams better than I love this. I've experienced that. I don't know if you have, of where you go to another dose and you're like, oh my gosh, I thought this was going to be so different and so much better, and it wasn't. It was this big letdown. And that's okay too. That's okay too. It's the ability and looking at that as a gift. Okay, great. This week is a week that I get the ability to work on myself of what I can control. And reframing it that way for me, so helpful. This is it's not working the way I feel like with ZEPBOUND appetite suppression. So I get the ability to make the change of my food and with protein and with the physical activity. And so walking 6 miles then becomes no big deal. So sweet friends, a couple of things. One, I want to make sure you get that discount code with Queen with BIOPTIMIZERS with the mushroom breakthrough. Linked down in the description, link below. 2, your question of the day, accountability, is what are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? Let me know down below. And 3, our emoji of the day is going to be a mushroom, since we're talking about mushroom breakthrough. This does not taste like mushrooms. If it's salted caramel, for me, it tastes like salted caramel. Chocolate tastes like chocolate. Chai tastes like chai. But emoji of the day helps me to get to know you better because I care, and also lets me know you made it this far in the video, and I will pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, I'll uplift you in positive thought. Sweet friends, today's been a fun video, and I love you guys so super much. Be kind yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shop, and count my blessings because life is delicious. I am so excited to go get this now. Taking it downstairs to go get my coffee now. Okay, love y'all. Bye.